everyone. So as we are discussing about the rules in ecology, and we have already discussed about the Ellen's rule in the previous video. So in this video we'll be discussing about the Glogger's rule, the Shefford's law of tolerance and the Bergman's rule in detail. So first of all, let us look at the Glogger's rule now. So the most important thing to remember in the Glogger's rule is that it is based on the melanin production. So what is melanin? So in simple terms we can say that melanin, it is a chemical which provides pigmentation to our skin tone. That is, because of melanin our skin tone is determined. For example, if we have high melanin production in our body, then we would have a darker skin tone, and if we have less melanin production, it would lead to lighter skin tone. So this was the concept that was used in the Glogger's rule. So we can say that according to this rule, the warm area animals or the warm area organisms have a dark body, and this dark body is a result of high melanin production in their body. And in contrast to the warm area, we have the cold area organisms that have a lighter body, which is the result of low melanin production in their body. So the level of the melanin, that is high or low level in their body, determines their skin tone. And by looking at the skin tone of the organisms, we can predict that to which area these organisms belong. For example, we can see in this picture that on the left hand side we have a darker complexion organism, so it must be belonging to a warm area as according to the Glogger's rule. And on the right hand side we have a light colored organism, so it must be belonging to a colder region. And same is the case we can apply in these examples also, that by looking at their skin tone we can predict that to which area they must be belonging. So this was all about the Glogger's rule. Now let us look at the Shefford's law of tolerance. So we need to understand that the existence, abundance and the distribution of the species in an ecosystem is actually determined by the range of the tolerance to the environmental variables. Let us understand this in simple words. So we can say that consider this is an area or this is an ecosystem. So the existence, or we can say that whether species A would be present in this area or not, means this species would be existing in this area or not would depend upon the range of tolerance of these species to the environmental variables of this area. And what do we mean by environmental variables? It means all the abiotic factors, and abiotic factors include air, temperature and other factors. So existence, abundance and distribution. Abundance means number of organisms present, and distribution means to which area in this ecosystem these organisms would be found, will all be dependent upon the environmental variables of this particular area. So according to the Shefford's law of tolerance, the upper and the lower threshold values on the environmental gradient beyond which the species cannot survive. That means, let us understand this by the help of this graph. So on the y-axis we have the population of the organisms, and on the x-axis we have the environmental gradient from high to low as we move forward towards the right direction. And in case of population on the y-axis, as we move upward we have a higher gradient on the upper side. So we can observe that initially when the environmental gradient is very low, or we can consider that this area have very negative or very stressful condition, so we cannot find any population in this area. But as the environmental gradient move towards the moderate range, we can see a sharp increase in the number of populations of organisms surviving. But after reaching the maximum point of moderate temperature, we can see that there occurs a decline in the population of the organisms, and after reaching a certain point or after reaching a maximal point, there occurs a sharp or a vigorous decline in the number of population, and after a point we can see that there occurs no population. So the area in which we can find the maximum amount or the maximum number of organisms, that range or that area is known as the optimum range. And beyond the optimum range, where less organisms can be seen, where the organisms are infrequent in number, that area is the range of physiological stress. And beyond the physiological stress, on both the sides we have the range of intolerance, where the organisms are almost absent or completely absent. So I hope this was clear to you. Let us just recall it once. So the area where the maximum number of organisms are seen is the optimum range, where there is moderate temperature, moderate rainfall, and all other environmental factors are favorable for these organisms to survive. But beyond this optimum range, we have the range of physiological stress, where the organisms can be seen but very less in number. And beyond the range of physiological stress, we have the range of intolerance, where no organisms can be seen. And the last point to remember is that excluding the range of intolerance, all the ranges of the range of physiological stress and the optimal range is altogether known as the tolerance range. So this was all about the Shepard's law of tolerance. Now let us discuss the last rule, that is the Boltzmann's rule, in detail. So let's talk about the Boltzmann's rule now. So the first point to remember is that it is applicable only to the endotherms. And what are endotherms? We have already discussed. So endotherms are the organisms that are warm-blooded, and the organisms which maintain their constant body temperature irrespective of the temperature outside in their environment. So the Boltzmann's rule is applicable to these endotherms. According to the Boltzmann's rule, the warm area animals have surface area more in comparison to their volume, and as a result of this they have a high surface area to volume ratio. And because of higher surface area, these organisms can lose more heat from their body, and because of more heat loss, this loss helps these organisms to have a constant body temperature and help them to survive in a better way in the existing warm temperature. So let us just understand it with the help of this picture. So as we can see that this organism have lesser volume, but if we compare its volume with its surface area, we can see that this organism have a wider or a more surface area which is exposed to the environment in comparison to the actual volume of its body. We can understand it this way, that consider these are two boxes. This one is a bigger box, let's name it A, and this one is a smaller box, let us name it as B. So if we compare the surface area and the volume of individual boxes, so we can find out the box A have more volume and less surface area exposed to the environment. But if we consider the box B, we can find out that this box have lesser volume, but in comparison to the less volume, more surface area is exposed to the environment. And this is the same rule that is applied to these warm area animals, that they have more surface area in comparison to lesser volume of their body. And because of high surface area, these organisms can lose more heat from their body, and as a result of more heat loss, they can maintain their constant body temperature in the environment and hence survive better in this harsh environment. So this was about the warm area animals. Let us understand about the cold area animals. So in contrast to warm area, the cold area animals have lesser surface area as compared to the higher volume of their body. We can imagine a panda which have a very large body, but if we compare the volume or the mass of panda in comparison to the surface area of its body exposed to the external environment, we can find out that the panda have lesser surface area exposed in comparison to the volume of its body. So this is the rule that is applied to all the cold area animals according to the Boltzmann's rule. So because of less surface area and more volume, there is resultant of lower ratio of surface area to volume, and because of low surface area, there occurs less heat loss from their body, and as a result of less heat loss, more heat can be retained in their body, and finally because of more heat retention, there occurs a constant body temperature maintenance in their body, and finally they can survive better in this harsh cold area. So this was all about all the 4 rules. I hope these rules are clear to you. Let us just quickly summarize what we have studied about in these rules. So the first was the Allen's rule, in which we studied about the appendages or the external organs. So in Allen's rule, we studied that the cold area animals have smaller appendages, and because of smaller appendages, there occurs less heat loss, and as a result of that, there occurs constant body temperature maintained in their body. And in contrast to cold area, we have the warm area animals, where we can see large appendages, and as a result of that, there occurs high heat loss, and finally the body temperature can be maintained. The second rule that we studied was the Glauber's rule. It was dependent upon the melanin production, and melanin was a chemical that helped in the body pigmentation. So according to Glauber's rule, the cold area animals have lesser melanin in their body, and as a result of that, they have lighter skin tone. And in contrast, the warm area animals have higher melanin production, and as a result, they have darker complexion of their body. In Shepard law of tolerance, we studied about that the organisms occur maximally in a range where there occurs a optimum temperature and optimum other environmental gradients which is suitable for the organisms to survive. So that range was known as the optimal range, and beyond the optimal range we had the range of physiological stress, and beyond that we had the intolerance range where no organisms could survive in the environment. The last rule that we studied was the Boltzmann's rule, where we studied that the cold area animals have less surface area exposed, and because of less surface area exposed, they have less heat loss from their body, and as a result they can survive better because of constant body temperature maintenance. And in contrast, we had warm area animals where there was more surface area in comparison to volume, which led to high heat loss and finally better survival because of constant body temperature maintenance. The last point to remember is that both Allen's rule and the Boltzmann's rule are applicable to the endotherms. So this was all about all the 4 rules that we need to study and remember for our exam, and all of these rules are very important because many questions have been asked previously, and we'll be discussing all those questions in detail in the future videos. So if you like this video, please do like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel and I'll be coming up very soon with the next videos as well. So thank you so much for watching and take care.